Hi, so in the previous video, I talked a few things about this idea of a society or a community that I gave the name of the land of vision, and talked a few things about how personal autonomy and personal liberties and the ability for a person to make his or her own decisions has such an important part to play in such a society. And so in this video, I wanted to talk a few more things about a few more ideas on this society and how this society would function and what kind of things you could expect um, to be the ideals of of this society. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is one of the most important, if not the most important thing, that is personal autonomy, and how the concept of and the structures of bureaucracy are completely opposite to that of personal autonomy. And it for a person to make his or her own decisions, and every time that a person makes these decisions, if the person has to go through so many different bureaucracies, it's just it's a really dehumanizing process to go through bureaucracy every time a person has to make a decision on how to live his or her own life. It's and I think one of the most important concepts is the concept that you are innocent until proven guilty. And I think bureaucracy is the exact opposite of this concept, and that is why it is so dehumanizing for a person to make their own decisions, to have to go through bureaucracies. And in this society that I'm talking about, there is um, the concept of personal autonomy is very important. And another part that is so important to this society is that young people, especially, young people should have the highest amount of freedoms that they could have, and in a way of how to live their life and how what kind of choices they can make on how to live their life. And with with this autonomy, I think a great thing that can happen is when people have autonomy, personal autonomy in their lives, I think that creates a driving force of creativity and innovation. Whenever a person has autonomy and the ability to do things the way they want to do them, and not being interfered with bureaucracy or any other type of constraints or any other way of having this drive getting stopped. When this doesn't happen, creativity and innovation can really thrive in such an environment. And um, like I talked about in a previous video, there are many of these constraints like bureaucracies and so many different things within bureaucracies that put and stop and constrain every single thing that a person, every single choice that a person can make. With these bureaucracies stop that kind of creativity and innovation and stop that autonomy. But there's another way that this happens is through wage slavery, where a person has to be put into this environment where where a person's creativity and innovative capabilities are not required, but a person is required to do just mundane things just to get the bare essentials of life. And in this way, I talked about in the previous video that technology can play a huge part in eliminating this wage slaving system. And I think it's a very barbaric system, this system of wage slavery, where a person has to do away with all of their dreams and all of their capabilities and all of their potential just to do mundane work and get the bare essentials of life. Again, and within all the bureaucracies, so there's just the bare essentials, no liberties, and a person not being able to live up to their potential. It's such a barbaric system to be living in this kind of a in this kind of a really constrained and stopped kind of existence. It's very dehumanizing, and I think technology can help with eliminating this. The benevolent use of technology and using technology for the right purposes. People do not have to follow this barbaric system. Technology can create so much, it can create so many things that a person it doesn't have to be a part of this dehumanizing system just to get the bare essentials. And I think technology already today it is capable of doing this, but it is used for it's used for the wrong purposes. Instead of using it for the benefit of humanity, it's used within this bureaucratic system, which is completely inhuman. That's what it is. So it, it's a very dehumanizing system. So I think in this society that I am kind of envisioning, technology is one of those things that is going to free the people who are in this society from this wage slaving inhuman system where people cannot truly live up to their potential, where people, in this society people will be able to do it. In this society people can actually follow their dreams instead of these dreams being crushed by bureaucracy or by this wage slaving system where people can truly realize their dreams, and where people can actually not be forced basically to be, to do the mundane things that the wage slavery requires you to do, and to actually be creative and innovate and push culture forward, push art forward, and push technology forward, and push science forward, and and live a more human life where people feel that, okay, I am a human being and I'm living a human life instead of just being some kind of a cog in a machine. It's very, people deserve to live this kind of a life. A human being deserves to be treated like a human being. And it's just, the whole point of bureaucracy is that you're guilty until proven innocent. That is so inhumane. A person is innocent until proven guilty, but this bureaucracy and all this system is completely opposite of that, and it's very inhumane and very barbaric. So this society that I'm kind of envisioning, it cannot have this inhuman system, and for people to realize this society, people have to be educated, and people have to be rational, and people have to understand this, of how a more human society is possible. It's possible right now. It's possible if all of us were to believe in a more human existence instead of temporary, I don't know, temporary advantages or temporary, um, I don't know, I guess, I don't know what it even does, to be honest. um, so yeah, that's just a few thoughts on this, on how to create a world that creates a more human surroundings for that a human being can thrive in and live up to their true potential and live a meaningful, creative, innovative life where a person can wake up every day and do something to advance his or her personal capabilities, and also the capabilities of this whole society. And for that to happen, people need to be able to make their own decisions. People need to have personal autonomy. Or how could it happen if a person cannot even make their own decisions? So yeah, in this society, it we this needs to happen, and it has to be a society where people feel free and people feel safe, and um, people, especially young people, can be a part of this society and actually feel that, okay, I am living to my true capabilities and not being pushed into this system of dehumanization. So yeah, those are just a few thoughts on this. I had many more thoughts on this, but maybe in a later video, because yeah, in another video I'll talk a few more things about this. But for now, yeah, those are just a few thoughts. And I think I've said this before, and I think such a society is possible right now. It is possible if we were to realize, if enough educated and rational and innovative people, if we were to realize that this is possible right now, and if we were to start realizing this, it could happen, and it could happen right now. And people need to start thinking about this, to start realizing this society. And yeah, so that's where I'm going to end this video, and hopefully this will um, be a positive message, I think. And yeah, so that's where I'm going to end this video, and I'll see you in the next video.